Welcome to the Idaho Business Podcast, the only Idaho podcast focused on providing profits for Idaho people. If you love our state and love small business, you are in the right place. We interview local legends, learn business, and have way too much fun doing it. You're listening to the Idaho Business Podcast with your friend, host, and all-around great guy and owner of New Clean Commercial Cleaning, Spencer Ward.
All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of your favorite Idaho podcast. Not just business podcast, but Idaho podcast. But anyways, we are sponsored by New Clean Commercial Cleaning, as always, my company. So if we can help you in Eastern or Southern Idaho with your janitorial solution needs, give us a call at 208-254-7070. And coming with flu season up right now, want to keep your employees healthy. So the offer is, if you call us and say, I heard about you on the podcast, we will come and give you a free flu season sterilization spray to kind of reset your whole office space and make sure your employees are protected, and go from there. Absolutely free, no strings attached. Now, today, and even this week, I've been thinking about it. What do we have in place when the unexpected happens? We've talked about stuff like this in the past. We've talked about having plans, having processes in place, but do we really have something in place when crap hits the fan? What happens with one of our major managers, employees, puts in their notice? Hey, I'm done. I'm going to a different job to work. Maybe they've been with you for years and years. What do? Do you sit down and cry? No, you can't do that. That's counterproductive. Do you have a plan? And that's something I thought would be good to talk about today, because maybe it happened to me, maybe it did, I don't know. But I know it's happened to many of us, especially with the pandemic, coming to an end. Hopefully, maybe they'll come up with something else to freak out about. But man, that is something to think about, guys and gals. What do you do when that happens? The biggest thing we've talked about in this podcast over and over and over again is, first of all, thin slice your jobs. As you thin slice your jobs, people have their very designated roles in your company that they play. And number one, we talked about this a few episodes ago about how to formulate your job roles and positions in your company, starting with, the outcomes first, tying the compensation to the outcomes, and then having some suggested tasks to accomplish the outcomes. Okay. So that's kind of the goal there. That's how you put it together. So if you're putting that together, you're thin slicing stuff, even when stuff like this happens, you're ahead of the game. Okay. So if you're putting jobs together without Jim or Nancy or Susan or James in mind, then you are literally putting a position together that is going to be good and beneficial for your company, not for what James or what Susan needs, but what your company needs. And that is huge. And that's what I've been in the process of doing for the last few months, is thin slicing and really deciding and fine tuning what the company needs. And I'm telling you, I practice what I preach, people, because now with something happening, it's not as big of a shock. I have some steps in place I know I need to take. I know I have some job descriptions and stuff, exactly what I need to hire for, and I can move forward. And the thing is, I think we all have it in our minds, especially when we have maybe even an underperforming employee that we know, hey, you know what, this person is not a fit. But it's slim pickings out there to find people And I just don't want to go through it because it's going to make my life harder and we think in our minds, like, and I'm saying we, because I've been there. I mean me too. We think in our minds, oh, it's going to make my life a living hell for what, 6 months or whatever a time limit is in our minds. But really, if we think about it, no matter what the job is with our small companies, I would put a timestamp on it of no more than 90 days. No matter what happens, what position turnover in your company, if you give attention to it and you form systems and you really fine tune and dial in what you want out of this new hire, and maybe you dilute it down even more. Hey, I don't need this person to do A, B, and C, and D, and E and G. I need this person to just do A and B. That way I can hire someone else to do C and D. Those kind of things are so much more beneficial for you and your company, because when those people move on, it's so much easier to find that role to replace for your company. And you're not left with just, oh crap, I've got to find this jack of all trades to fill this weird gap that I've made this role around this unique person that's been in my company. And that's not what you want. That's not what you want to accomplish. So what else do you do? What steps do you need to take to accomplish these goals as you're trying to thin slice things within your company? First of all, you take the person that's, maybe giving your notice, or hopefully you're doing this before they're giving your notice, because you want to be ahead of the game, right? You write down everything that they're currently doing for you. Even if it is one of those Mosh Podge positions that you have them, doing this and X, Y, and Z, and then A, B, and C, and then and once a month they're doing this, write it all down, okay? And then really decide, okay, put it into different boxes, okay? It's not she or he does not necessarily need to do this task, put it in this box, and make these tasks, put the tasks that you're removing into similar boxes. Okay, that task is similar to this task. That task is similar to this task. That task is similar to this task. And then that's how you first start to thin slice things. And then you really can dilute down and fine tune the position you really need to hire and to thin slice in your company. Because you don't need a jack of all trades in your company. You need just dedicated people that can fill the tasks that you need completed in your company. And that's a much easier task than to find some jack of all trades. And we've all been guilty of it. We're all learning. We're all small business owners, or some of us are larger business owners, but we've all been in those learning situations where we have this employee and they've grown with us, and little by little we have them do more and more, and until they are doing literally probably more than they should be doing, because they don't know how to say no, or they don't know, they don't just say, hey, that's really, it's starting to get outside of my scope of what I was originally hired for. Like, I think we're all kind of guilty of that. So that's the kind of thing that you have to really be alert about as you're going and maintaining your businesses and maintaining your staff, is that you're not creating that for yourself, because that is creating a big storm in the future, because you're irritating people, you're agitating people until they quit, because they are now a jack of all trades and they really can't do what they want to do within the company. So I'm telling you now, fine tuning and thin slicing what the employees need to do by tasks, I would venture to say they're going to be happier, because they're going to know exactly what to do, and they're going to know exactly what outcomes you're looking for, and how they're going to be compensated by reaching those outcomes, and even see the suggested tasks that you've given them to help meet those outcomes. Suggested tasks, because obviously you want them to know, like, you have the autonomy and the freedom to adjust them to whatever you need to do to achieve these tasks and achieve these outcomes for yourself, and to feel empowered to do whatever you need to do to be better and to accomplish these outcomes in the way you want to. That's going to help you become more successful and help you get compensated the way you want to be compensated. So those are the things that have been on my mind, and I hope that can help you guys and gals today as you're going throughout your upcoming week. And maybe you have some of those employees you're thinking of. Daryl is a jack of all trades. I probably really should divide his tasks that he does on a weekly basis or monthly basis into different boxes, and maybe let's then slice his responsibilities more. And I promise you, they're going to be happier if you do that. You're going to be happier because you're really getting to see have hands on and eyes on what's actually happening in your company, what actually needs to happen in your company, and what doesn't need to happen in your company. Sometimes you find things that you're like, why is this even happening? Like, we should be able to find this virtual assistant over here could easily do this in an hour a week. Like, it cost me a hot nickel for her to do it, compared to have James over here. It cost me 20 hours, $20 a week to do it, or whatever. I don't know what it is. So there's things like that. If you, as you're going through that practice, you'll be able to find and fine tune and maybe save yourself some money, and really find that your company can run smoother and better. So again, you guys go out there and conquer it. Stay away from the negative Nancy's. Go conquer it and just defeat this week, and stay positive, and just know there's gratitude there's things to be grateful for all around you. Don't ever think that you have nothing to be grateful for. And I will say that to the day I die. You guys have a great week. We'll chat with you all later.
Congratulations on spending a couple of minutes getting a little bit smarter, having some fun, and supporting the Idaho business community. If you're feeling the love, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you are.